All right, guys, welcome to the Capes and Lunatics, episode 6. And today we're going to be talking about Marvel and DC and reviewing their books and the big announcement that Marvel had about revolutionizing the comic book industry. And whatever that's going to be.
Well, here's what I said this last night on Super Connectivity. I'm waiting for the day when they announce, when the big announcement is, and this will make absolutely nothing change.
Chewy.
Okay.
But so you want them to be honest, Charlie? Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Well, I mean, it would. Well, here's what I'll say: is they always say this is going to change comics forever, and then it never does. They said this will have no effect on comics at all, and then maybe it would.
I think if you want to be completely honest, you say this is going to change the industry completely for 6 months.
Yeah. Well, here's what I think always they intend to change the comic book industry forever, but it's an industry that is established, and if it was that easy to change the comic book industry forever, it would be changed by now, and then you wouldn't be able to change it at all. Although to that extent, we discussed this on Super Connectivity last night. I do want to get the rest of the Capes and Lunatics thoughts on this. So here's my big prediction. If Marvel was really going to change the comic book industry forever, here's what likely they would do. You go back to pulp paper books, which of course ties into your legacy, because you go back to that old style, lighter weight paper books with the dry ink instead of the glossy ink on the paper, which is going to save you a little money theoretically. You cut the books down to $1.99. And then, and here's the kicker, you then sell the digital version separately. So no more free codes, but you're only paying $1.99. So people aren't going to miss it. And if you want the digital code, that's $1.99, meaning that the actual cost to Marvel remains the exact same, because they're still going to get $3.90. They're still going to get $3.98 now per book if you get the digital and the paper copy. Which I think, having giving away digital copies so long, there's a lot of people who buy their books and then read it online. So you have your book over there, but you still put it into your computer and you read it online because, quite frankly, it's just a little bit more convenient than having to carry around the paper books all the time. So if they go to a $1.99 model for both paper and digital as the industry, because it's going to make comic books cheaper again, which means little kids, like that one over there in the corner, will be able to buy comic books himself, make his own choices to like the books he likes. And as adults, we'll continue to buy our books. And of course, the price will go up over time, but it won't be as dramatic as it was. And you'll always have that parity. So whatever cost to the paper book is, you just double it and that's your digital book. Or you only buy in digital, which helps out people that live in parts of the country or parts of the world where they don't even have comic book stores. So you start to expand your entire market without really costing yourself much at all.
And like I said, you're going to dominate.
What do you guys think of this as a theory?
Well, I told you last night, you're going to dominate the industry because DC, even Image and those other companies are at like $3.99 or more. So, I mean, you're really going to undercut all of them. Mm-hmm. And two, they get to make the big announcement, be like, well, we know, the dollar doesn't mean much anymore. And, your money doesn't go as far as it used to. But we at Marvel care about you more than any of those other companies. And we're going to cut our prices. And
yeah, we'll see. I think your theory and your idea is valid if they really want to revolutionize the industry. But my thing is, if they do that, how thin are the books going to be?
Well, idea,
because they're going to cut back on the books.
Oh yeah,
and they're going to become like
it's going to become
pages.
Like he was saying, it's going to be like the cheaper paper. It's not going to be the glossy paper. It's going to be like the paper you had 20 years ago, which I think is
exactly.
Is I think the only thing stopping them, because they're going to be like, oh, people don't like this. Everyone's going to swarm to DC, swarm to Image, and everyone else. But I think
what it gives them is the opportunity to move more people to the digital platform. Because there's going to be a lot of people who are sitting there saying, well, I can get the books digitally for $1.99, or I can go to the store and get them paper. The collectors are still going to go get the paper books because they're collectors. And from a collector's perspective, if they go back to newsprint, books will actually start to have value again because newsprint will decay. Which means that if you're buying your $1.99 book and you're meticulously boarding and bagging and setting away from the light, that book might actually gain value someday. Whereas all the books you're buying now, those are never going to gain value because they're too durable, and more to the point, there's too many of them and there are too many collectors. There's not an intrinsic designed in obsolescence that you had in the old newsprint books, where eventually the acids in the paper would break down the book itself. So no matter how well you took care of it, it would eventually fade away to nothingness. And that is a great selling point from a collector's perspective, from the economics of collecting, and rewards those people that are buying these books just to put them into a box because they think they're going to retire on it like so many Beanie Babies, you know?
No, I'm with you. Like, if that's where they went, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what they wanted to do, it makes perfect sense. But are they that bold and that creative?
Well, that's always the thing. Is anyone as bold and creative as I?
That's the truth.
I pray the world is as wise as I am. History has not borne me out.
All right. I want to hear it. All right, Lilith, what's your thoughts?
It's not going to be that. As much as I wish it could be that.
Yeah,
no way.
I know it would be great, but yeah,
it's a good idea. And if nobody can start a comic book company in 2017 and be successful and compete with the big boys, but that would be a niche market for sure if somebody wanted to start their own comic book and do it on that model. But the stories also have to be there. Just because you slash the price doesn't mean I'm going to pick it up. So you actually have to back it up with the stories too.
And that's
a difficult person unless it's something really special, like say a Batman 25 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like things that I just do all digital. It's just easy because my comic book shops are.
And this would help you because then you're getting all your digital books at $1.99. You'd buy more digital books. Because if your digital book's only $1.99, and this is what I always say, I'm a guy who has a rule. I spend $20 a week on comics. I don't follow that rule as much as I'd like to, but my rule is officially I'm supposed to spend $20 a week on comics, which at $4 a book is 5 books. Go to $1.99 now. I can buy 10 books, and everyone operates on that model. And this is what I'm thinking. So when you say, oh, we're going to have the 52-week print, we're going to have our new 52 because there are 52 weeks in a year. So we're going to have a new book every week. But if you put it at $1.99, it's easier to get more people in. Because like what made you able to do 52 books at DC was that it was $2.99. Was that it was inexpensive books. And so you could have all these extra books and people would pick them up because, it's only $2.99. Go to $1.99. And again, people are going to go, let me check it out. Let me see what this new Falcon is. He should have stayed as Captain America. Mm-hmm. But I can't force Falcon to be Captain America. See, I'm sorry. As much as I'd like to, I can't make the man do what he wants. What he doesn't want to do.
I agree. I just worry. Like I said, I worry because you know how they do, like you can buy digital chapters of books like 99 cents, and then it takes like 4 or 5 chapters to be the actual book. I worry that if they do the $1.99 thing, that you're just going to get minimal content, and in the end, you're going to end up paying the same amount or more to get your full story comic content because they're going to reduce the pages and stuff in the book so much.
Yeah, well, and for what it's worth, that's essentially right now, that's what you're doing anyway. It's like right now. I mean, the entire premise of comic books is that you buy each piece of the book each week or each month or every 2 weeks, and you plop down an amount of money. And the cheaper you make it, the more people will buy.
Sure.
Because because as you produce more content, people are going to want to get more.
Like I was saying too, they're going to move more units too. So anytime the top 10 comes out, it's going to be like Marvel sold way outsold DC because they're going to move more content and people are going to pick up more books, like you said.
Yeah. Now, of course, you can also look at the profit margins, and that's like the real catch-22 here. But again, like I said, I think if they put in that digital at $1.99 too, you're going to really start to see those digital sales skyrocket.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the biggest problem with digital right now is that it costs as much to get a digital book as a paper book.
That's always kind of been my problem with digital.
And
it's the same cost.
Yeah. And it's still the same cost here, but the idea is you lower the price of the paper book because you make the paper book. You make a cheaper paper book,
Or a flight trip, or
Can anyone hear Lilith, or is it just
no?
Just
Lilith, we're having trouble hearing you.
Now Lilith is shy. Okay.
She's going to start writing it on paper and holding it up.
Yes. Anyway, do we want to talk about comics of the week? What was everyone's favorite comic?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Do we want to take turns, I'm
going to throw this out there. I haven't got to read anything this week. I've been really busy. As Phil knows, we had to take Selah to Children's on Tuesday. She's been sick. So I've just been taking care of her and Solomon while Jania started her new job. So I'm behind. So tell me what was good so I don't waste my time reading what was bad.
Okay. Do you like Skrull Cows?
Ooh, this sounds intriguing.
If you like Skrull Cows, there's no better book this week than Superman 25. In which we really get to see the entire logic behind the entire Skrull Cow concept. And I don't want to spoil it for you, Tyler, because you haven't read it yet. But pick it up. It's a great tale of, love conquers all, and the bond between father and son is great. And everybody, this week, you get this great backup story about Aquaman.
Nice.
I want to actually read Aquaman.
It's a preview of Aquaman 25 that was out this week.
Oh, that was out this week. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I might like. Oh, that seems interesting.
Aquaman's been really good lately.
Yeah. Well, Lilith says so. So that's good. So I like that. Over on the Marvel side, man, I'm a Marvel guy, but there was so much good Marvel this week. That's like, to me, that's the hardest thing with Marvel is they charge me $4. I wind up spending $35 on books, more than my $20 rule. And dang it, I don't regret a single purchase. Ultimates, it's right there in the name. If you want cosmic joy and adventure, you will not get better than Ultimates number 8 this week, where we see Ego versus Galen. Or actually, you find out who Ego used to be. Dun dun dun. Many years ago.
It's the Galactus Ego buddy comedy.
Yeah, man. No, these two are doing a road trip. It's going to be great. It's Guardians of the Galaxy number 3. There we go. Ego and Galactus.
Nice.
Cosmos. Yeah. This is good. This is probably my pick of the week this week. Captain America number 18, because they totally tear apart Cap in this. This is like Cap goes on full supervillain, and in going full supervillain, you realize, this guy is going to fail miserably, because that is the inherent conceit of comic books: is once you become a supervillain, you're going to lose. The villain always loses, and you see that immediately. And I don't want to give too many spoilers, but I love this because we get to this point where he's addressing the UN, and Cap, really the military garb. It's not becoming. It is not becoming when you do that. Yeah, it is not a good look for you. And he goes into his whole bulgy eye thing, and then this is what I love. You see who that character is? That's Sabra. That is the Israeli Defense Forces licensed superhero.
Deep pull.
Because because you know who hasn't forget that Hydra is Nazis? Israel. So I think opening up with Sabra basically stealing data from Hydra is a great opener. We get to see this great bit with Euroforce fighting the Hydra insurgents. I don't know if this guy's on Euroforce or if he's supposed to be a knockoff Doc Ock, but yeah. And then we get Cap all bulgy-eyed. He's like, "You will listen to me!" You know, you see China saying, "We are having none of it. We like a totalitarian regime as much as anybody, but not today." And then, speaking of totalitarian regimes, and Cap going all bulgy-eyed, "You will do what I say." And who should come in to put Cap in his place? February's Hero of the Month next year,
Black Panther.
The Black Panther, saying,
"Dude, I am so pumped for that."
Yeah, and he's basically saying, "I am tired of you sending people to Wakanda for me to kill. If you really want to invade Wakanda, please come here so I can kill you myself." Then he runs then he runs into Namor, and there's a whole thing with Namor, and it's kind of poignant, and Namor basically bails on it, but because we know that from last week's Secret Empire that Namor hands over the Cosmic Cube fragment. But it was a really good book, just to see Cap getting totally owned there. So that was my thing. Anyone else want to talk about comic books?
I thought you were going to bring up Doctor Strange.
Oh, I was going to. I didn't, because I know you and I have a lot of books together. So, okay, let's talk Doctor Strange. Oh, and Thor. Yeah, Thor, Doctor Strange. Honestly, like I said, Thor, even Secret Warriors, number 3 this week. Really a good book. But Doctor Strange, I'm not going to go too much into this one, but let me put it this way: Wilson Fisk discovers magic, and honestly, what I'm going to tell you is that the entirety of this book can be summed up in the preview for next book. If you can see that, Doctor Strange has his AK, Kingpin has a wand. Wilson is happy to pay the cost. The basic premise is they because Wilson has basically found a way to circumvent all of the badness in his tower because he's made a deal with an old witch who has a trove of black magic. We see Mordo having a really hard time because he doesn't understand why Doctor Strange can't have a separate fridge for beer and creamer, why he has to keep his coffee creamer in the fridge with the tentacled monsters.
Always thinking with his stomach, though, Wilson Fisk.
Yeah. No. That was Mordo.
Oh, yeah, Mordo. Yeah, that's right.
No. And Wilson Fisk, I'm really liking the way they're drawing him here. I mean, he's a big guy, and they actually do point out that he is like a big guy because they have him breathing heavy when they're running away from the monsters. And his, when they come out of the subway earlier. Yeah, I mean, it's a fun book, but yeah, they get to the trove of black magic. And Doctor Strange is all like, "Oh, no, don't touch anything. This is black magic. It all has a cost." And Wilson Fisk's like, I'll pay it. And, of course, picks up the big glowy face monster mask because what could go wrong? And, of course, defeats the bad guys. So there we go. Wilson Fisk, hero of the Endarkened Omniverse. Ms. Marvel, I actually did not get the chance to read Ms. Marvel last week. I read it this week. Ties in real nice with Secret Warriors 3 because here we see the start. This is Ms. Marvel is your very political book and does a nice little teenager understanding and allegory of everything through the mark of Jersey City. And again, we see Ms. Marvel really using her powers in new ways, doing a whole stretch dodge. And again, without unstable molecules, I still say this girl has Impossible Man level power sets. She is the most powerful character in the Marvel Universe right now, and people forget that. And she doesn't even know it yet. But essentially, we see that, she makes the point about how even when she fought against the rising tide of Hydra in Jersey City, she never realized that there were still many people who are standing behind Hydra. And then we see her brother, Amir, get arrested because he is an unregistered superhuman. And he doesn't use his powers. He doesn't like to use his powers. He only used them once. but he's like, I don't do that. That's not my thing. We cut to Secret Warriors 3, and this is a great because this does like the two flashback. This is told in two levels. One is Ms. Marvel dealing with New York going under the Dark Force, and then the interaction with the X-Men in Nutetian. And the X-Men and the Secret Warriors are not getting along. And Richter, you get Richter versus Quake, and Richter, who's like, get an original power set, lady. They go find Dark Beast's evil lab and capture Dark Beast, which they then turn over. Yeah, it's nice because you get this conflict between Ms. Marvel and Daisy about what needs to be done to fight the fascism. Innocent people are going to die. Basically, Daisy's point is innocent people are going to die. If we fight hard enough, we at least get to pick who. We get to make sure that the people who die are the ones who deserve it. And Ms. Marvel's like, no, we have to be better than that. It's your basic superhero conundrum. And after they are kicked out of Nutetian by the X-Men, Daisy has a nice father-daughter moment with General Hyde. So definitely picking that up next week. Really liking the Secret Wars. And that brings me to what is the most moving book of the week. The book that is, if this doesn't make you cry, you have no soul.
No.
Or make you laugh, make you cry. It's so good. It's the Mighty Thor, and this is, of course, our new War Thor, or as I call him, the Indestructible Thor, because our opening tale is in Svartalheim, as the dwarves have taken in the Light Elf refugees who are all starving because, and the dwarves aren't doing too much better because they had always traded ore to the Light Elves for food. All the crops in the realm of the Light Elves have been burned down, so there's not enough food to go around. Everyone is starving and dying. And Volstagg is there, great jelly Volstagg, who with his big sack of food, who is a little sad there wasn't going to be a welcoming feast. But he, of course, shares it with the children because he is a good-hearted man. And then the attacks come from the realm of fire, of the fire giants, who apparently are allied with the Dark Elves. And we see Volstagg with his indestructible girth taking on the children, the refugee children, trying to get them out of the burning valley as everything burns. We get a little confrontation here with Jane Foster and Thor, Odin's son, and little Thori. Who remembers little Thori? Cute little dog. They have a very nice heart-to-heart. Weird thing is, I don't remember her telling him that, and I'm very confused on some timelines here because we know that she fights Cap in New York City after the takeover when he picks up the hammer, but we also saw that she was on the outside with the other heroes. So I'm wondering what's going on with that. So that's a little weird timeline stuff. But we see that the hammer comes to Jane because there's danger in Svartalheim. They have to go to Svartalheim. We see Raz and Leadfoot. Or Stonefoot, who is their guide there. And this is where it gets great, okay? You see Volstagg carrying the children. We see the fire goblin and his dragon that he's riding coming to burn down everything. And we get this, the monster goes to kill the children, and we get the rage of Volstagg.
No.
Don't mess with Volstagg. Because he's all jolly, he's a right jolly old elf until everything burns. And the one thing that the demon fire won't burn is fire goblin blood, which he bathes in to save himself. And the children are dead, and he is haunted by the war. We see this here. And the ultimate Thor's hammer calls to him. He goes to it, and he picks it up, and that's our new Thor.
Spoilers!
Oh, sorry, man. Yeah. Oh,
So good.
it was so moving, so powerful.
No.
Hey, this isn't going to post till next week. You should have read it by now, and if it's been all over CBR. So next week or next month, 3 Thors together versus Malekith. And I'm going to tell you, I love that they're making Volstagg this Thor character. I love Volstagg as a character in general, and to have him restored to his warrior glory is a fantastic thing. So, yeah. Super Sons I was soft on, but it just seems to be whiny teenagers now, so I'm not sure. Tyler has stuff to do apparently. Okay, anybody else have anything to say, or is this just me talking all day?
Well, here I'm going to start on. I guess I'll finish Marvel and then go to DC. My pick for Marvel is Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man #1. We got Human Torch in here, Ant-Man. We got a possible new love interest for Spider-Man, stand-up comedian Rebecca London.
No.
We've got, like I told you before, Charlie, the brother of the Tinkerer, who actually, I guess, works with the good guys.
Okay. Is he an old guy too, or?
He's doesn't look quite as old. I mean,
yeah. Well, not for nothing. The Tinkerer is like 173. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, look at that. He's played by Josh Gad, apparently.
Supposedly, yeah. And then there's a backup story. Supposedly, for some reason, S.H.I.E.L.D. seems way more interested in Spider-Man all of a sudden. So I guess we'll get into that. But
and this is, of course, pre-Secret Empire, this storyline, right?
It must be. I mean, nobody's at war, so I'm thinking.
Yeah. But well, then you know why S.H.I.E.L.D. is interested in Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's my Marvel pick of the week. And Spider-Man 2099, number 24, wraps up the time travel storyline. And I'm not seeing a Spider-Man 2099 in Marvel Legacy, so I'm getting worried.
Yeah.
Because it's something gets mentioned there. So, Miguel time travels and everyone's like, oh, you died. So I don't know if this book's going to end well.
Yeah, or his time travel clone died, and then he just has to be a regular Spider-Man because he can't get back to 2099 because his timeline is destroyed.
Clones in a Spider-Man book? Get out of here.
Yeah, well, What else you got?
Daredevil 22. Matt Murdock. Remember he had his big plan, Charlie?
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to get it put in the, trying to set the precedent that heroes can testify in open court while keeping their mask, keeping their mask and their identity.
Okay.
So we're going to see if that works out. That's his big plan to eradicate all crime. All these, instead of heroes just wrapping guys up and leaving them for the police if they can testify.
In a secret identity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it makes it hard to face your accuser, especially because it's hard to say that that's really your accuser. How do we know it's just not some other guy in a red suit?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Charlie, because that's what the defense attorney was trying to bring up. And then, of course, the guy on trial's gang came in and tried to free him. And, of course, Daredevil subdued them. And the judge is like, any doubt now that that's Daredevil?
Yeah, well, judges may have that kind of leeway in their own courtroom. I don't know if that's going to stand up when it gets to the Supreme Court. That's all I'm saying. I think it's grounds for a mistrial to say the guys. You can have witnesses whose identities are kept secret, but they have to be known to the judge and the defense, or not to the defense, to the prosecution. The difference is that if a superhero is testifying in mask and they are not making their identity known, see, this is where superhero registration would have been helpful. Because if every superhero registers, then you can have the superhero licensing board who says, you can't be Daredevil. There's already a Daredevil in New York City. You've got to be some other name, and then that opens up a whole other thing. But if you had that, you had some board that licensed superheroes then that superhero, in the same way that you have, organizations that license bounty hunters, and other groups like that, and then you could say our identities must be kept secret because we're superheroes and all this kind of stuff. But then you still have to have it that people are doing that. I'm just saying legally, it sounds like a can of worms. I don't think it's going to fly, Matt. That's all I'm saying. You may win this case, but that case goes on from that one court.
Mm-hmm. All right. I got 2 more Marvel books. X-Men Gold #6. Lilith, are you reading X-Men? No.
No Marvel for the past month for me. Sorry, Phil.
The X-Men are turning it around, I'm telling you. Kitty Pryde's leading this X-Men team. This is the wrap-up of the big Evolved Sentinels, and it looks like something big's coming for Rachel Gray, a.k.a. Prestige, her new name. But yeah, X-Men Blue and X-Men Gold's been pretty good.
What are they, Pokemon?
What?
X-Men Blue and X-Men Gold?
It's a legacy. Remember? They had the Blue and Gold teams from the 90s?
Oh, right.
Legacy, Lilith. It's all about
is Marvel's policy, I guess.
It's all about branding, Lilith. Remember? Legacy.
Actually,
yes, that's kind of.
I don't remember.
It's all about branding.
But Blue and Gold's been good, Lilith. I think you, as an X-Men fan, I think X-Men have been good, way better than they've been in like years.
Yeah. When the trade comes, I might think about it.
In my last book, Guardians of the Galaxy, all new Guardians of the Galaxy #4. The teams at each other's throats, of course, and they're being played in a game between the Collector and the Grandmaster. So, the Elders of the Universe.
Familiar, only with the characters.
They're like, go steal from this guy. No, you go steal from him. The Elders of the Universe just playing chess with us mere mortals.
Yeah. No, what else are they gonna do?
Yeah. But those are my Marvel books. Well, I had Steve Rogers and Doctor Strange and Thor, but Charlie already went over those. But yeah, it was a pretty good week for Marvel, like you said, Charlie.
Yeah.
Oh, Tyler's back just in time. Gonna get to some DC now.
My kid is crazy. That's all I gotta say right now.
I like that.
Hey man, 2-year-olds. What can I tell you?
Oh my gosh. All right, so bring on the DC discussion.
Let me guess what your pick of the week was.
Was it your pick of the week, Lilith?
No. I didn't pick Nightwing #23.
Yeah, Nightwing 23, but it's Sealy. How could you not make this our pick of the week? It's so good.
Lobo Runner.
What?
It's Lobo and Wile E. Coyote going after the Roadrunner. That was my pick of the week.
Oh,
okay.
Awesome.
But Sealy brought back Blockbuster.
Oh.
Phil, you're such a 90s kid. I can't even with you sometimes.
Brought back that video rental store I used to work at.
I knew that was coming.
Awesome.
Yes.
But
Trump did say he'd bring back all the jobs, so there you go.
Yay, bookstores, video stores.
But yeah, no, Tim Seeley, man, he like we said, Lilith, he knows Nightwing and what's good and what works.
Had that special not been out, it totally would have been my pick of the week. It's my second DC pick of the week. All the 25s disappointed me, by the way.
Ooh, even Aquaman?
All that extra money for nothing.
Even Aquaman?
Yeah, that was very telegraphed and predictable, and I'm just like, it wasn't worth the extra buck. Sorry. Mm-hmm. I'm just so jaded now. I can't.
Speaking of 25s, Batman 25, The War of Jokes and Riddles Part 1 disappointed you?
I hate Joker now, and I hate the Riddler. So yeah.
But
I just want to know what's going to happen. Like the whole 3 Joker thing that they talked about. Like I feel like that just got dropped. Like, oh my gosh, this is so big. What's going on? Nothing.
I think they're going to roll that into all the Watchmen stuff, and either that or Dark Metal. But this is kind of a flashback, so it's like, it's not getting answered here. It's basically the Riddler and Joker are going to war, and they're going to split the Rogues Gallery up between the two of them, and you're going to see all the Rogues duking it out.
Is there a reason why they're going to war? I mean, is there?
Because they're
they both.
Is this like the Guardians of the Galaxy or the Elders of the Universe just playing chess with us mere mortals? Is this?
It's basically the Joker and the Riddler figuring out that neither one of them is, whoever kills Batman, the other one's never going to be complete, and it's going to like drive them crazy. So they're basically fighting over the right to be the one to kill Batman.
Yeah, Phil. It's going to drive them crazy. Yes. It's like, yeah, they're.
I thought it was implied.
Yeah, well, okay. So, but that's their motivation. They say, well, we'll fight, and then whoever wins our fight gets to kill Batman. Meanwhile, neither one of them is going to kill Batman. Neither one of them could kill Batman. It's, that was actually, just as a weird little side thing, Suicide Squad, and the concept that, the problem with a team of supervillains to protect you if superheroes go rogue isn't that the supervillains aren't as powerful as the superheroes. It's that if the supervillains could have defeated the superheroes, they would have already. You wouldn't have supervillains to pick from if they could defeat the superheroes. If the superheroes suddenly become more ruthless, I don't think the supervillains are suddenly going to be able to win the day, So, yeah, so Joker and Riddler fighting over who gets to kill Batman, that's
funny. And interesting.
Yeah. It fills pages, I guess. But I'm sure it'll be interesting.
You have to drag out that proposal from last issue. You can't answer that the next issue, Charlie. Come
on. Exactly.
Yeah.
But speaking of Batman,
I don't like you in that way, Batman.
Speaking of Batman, the book Lilith always poo-poos over, All-Star Batman, number 11. This one's, it's good. We get some Alfred backstory about, I don't know, he was kind of like the first, Batman almost.
He was a great ghost of some sort?
He kind of, well, not that branded, but yeah, kind of, sort of. And then the present story is kind of funny because Bruce Wayne is posing as Tommy Elliott, who was posing as Bruce Wayne, trying to get into this criminal gang. And then the funniest thing I thought in this issue was the Penguin telling he figures out it's Batman, and he's like, "Boy, Batman, you do a horrible Bruce Wayne impression."
Ugh. I feel like the animated series did it better. Sorry, just from that.
Bruce Timm did it first.
Yeah. Isn't that true of so much?
Yes. Oh, did everyone hear that? The next DC animated movie, the Batman and Harley Quinn, it's getting one night theatrical release.
Ooh. I might do that. I thought about doing it for Killing Joke, and Janine and I decided not to, and I am glad I did it.
But it's always weird. They always do it on a Monday night or something. It's like, why don't you do it on a weekend? You would get more business, wouldn't you?
Because they couldn't get a theater that would give them a weekend showing.
Probably.
Because the theater says, well, you're going to just release it digitally the next day. Mm-hmm. We might. Basically, what the theater says is anyone who's going to see this is going to see it on a Monday just as soon as they'd see it on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And you can only sell so many tickets. And if they know they'll sell out on a Monday, why would you sell out? Why would you use one of your Saturday theaters for something like that?
Yep.
Because they can still show another showing of Wonder Woman or Guardians of the Galaxy, and which is still in theaters. Which shocks me that Guardians of the Galaxy is still in theaters. When I was going through the theater listing the other day, I was like, "Wow, that's still out." Okay.
Good for it.
Captain Underpants is still out too. Yeah, it's doing very well.
It's nice. This is a little sidetrack, but you don't even have second run theaters anymore. You kind of do, but they're almost pointless because of how fast they turn around and put things on home release now.
Yeah,
that it's amazing to see things still in the theaters. You're like, wow.
Yes. I remember the old dollar shows.
Yeah, I do too.
You loaded up your kids.
That's like drive-ins now. You went to the grocery store, loaded up your pockets with candy and soda, and you went to the drive-in or the dollar theater. Why do you think
we still have a drive-in that's actually really awesome here.
Mm-hmm. There are still a few out there, and there are still a few dollar theaters out there too.
But it seems like by the time they get the movie, it's already on home release.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That'll be a good discussion. The rise of on-demand and things and how it killed the economy. What else you got?
Or just shifted the economy. You know what it is when you do things like that, what it does is it transfers money to urban centers and centrally located areas. So, the country is becoming more and more urban as it has been for centuries, and and unfortunately that means a lot of that Midwestern life is there's fewer and fewer things to service because there are fewer and fewer people because populations and finances all move to the urban enters. Economics.
Anyway,
humans live in colonies. We like ants.
Back to comics.
Yes, perk up the conversation, please.
I don't know if I'm going to perk it up. Lilith, so you were disappointed with Green Arrow 25?
Y'all know I love Ben. Y'all know I do. But I feel like he's running out of gas.
Is this Green Arrow getting whiny, kind of like the TV version sometimes?
Yeah, like, don't give me broody pseudo Batman Green Arrow. Don't do it. I've been dealing with that crap for 5 years. I want something completely different when I open up the comic book. It's bad enough Diggle's there, and he's a better version of Diggle on TV, but my mouth too. It's like, distract me from this. And he doesn't distract me this time around.
Well, at least the comic book Black Canary is like, willing to slap Malcolm around and say, get over it.
True. And that's really not the only thing that the book has going for it, but it's one of the only reasons why I pick it up personally. Black Canary is in a state of disrepair, okay?
But yeah, no, I thought it was decent. All right, but we got to get into this. This is going to light it fire under Charlie, I know, too. Aquaman 25. So
Ooh.
You said it was predictable, Lilith. But, all right, here's the story. Charlie, pay attention.
I'm listening.
Aquaman's lost the throne of Atlantis. Original story run. He lost the throne of Atlantis. There's a new king, and he's put a big dome or wall, should we say, around Atlantis because he doesn't want to let the Americans or anyone else in. And he's like stepping all over the poor, and
So heavy-handed. Like, this is the thing about a lot of DC books is that they're just so heavy-handed. They don't trust their readers to be smart enough to get it with a lighter hand, and I just can't sometimes. And Aquaman has been very political, but it hasn't been this in-your-face political. Political is Green Arrow. That's all that I'm going to say about it at this point. So,
yeah, well, like I said,
political on the liberal side of that thing, like, whoa, like, leave that to Green Arrow. Don't do this to my Aquaman. Thanks.
I mean, especially when Aquaman was king, though. I mean, do you have to have some politics because he was running?
Some politics, but not like this. Is my point. If you're gonna do it like this, that belongs to Green Arrow. Like, let's take it back to like the 60s, 70s Green Arrow, and that's fine.
And that would be, I think Green Arrow would be a great voice to do that. If you want, like, the whole politics. That's his character. I mean, that was his thing that really helped separate him from Batman.
Yes.
So let's bring that back.
I just noticed that in this, because I only read that first preview bit. I just noticed, okay, so Aquaman, he's a homeless guy with a beard, just stealing from Namor again. Lost his throne, down and out in a flop house in the Lower East Side of Atlantis. So yeah, with his beard, so no one recognizes him.
Charlie, they have to put him in a beard because the Justice League movie's coming.
Yes,
and the comics and the movies have to match up.
Yeah, honestly, wasn't Jason Momoa made a better Namor? I'm just saying.
What I really wonder is how is it that these, how is it that Atlantis still has a king in either universe? Because clearly kings have not been working out for these guys. Wakanda, you had that argument that, well, Wakanda's never been invaded. We've also always had a king. Maybe the king's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, Atlantis. Yeah, but Atlantis in either universe is like an isolated thing. So it's like, are they like, what is this democracy you speak of?
Exactly.
They get the internet in Atlantis, just like any place else. But they've invaded the surface world enough to. I'm sure someone picked up a newspaper.
They look at it and go, maybe we don't. Maybe democracy doesn't work. We're going to stick with monarchy.
I'm just saying, the Atlantis. I have not seen an Atlantis that wasn't always like totally being messed over by the surface world. And maybe they might want to argue, well, maybe it's that we have these kings who we give this absolute power to. And it's great when we have an Aquaman, perhaps, and his Justice Leaguery. But, Namor, Namor's unhinged. He's always unhinged. Starts out as a villain, after all. Much like the Human Torch did, interestingly enough. And, it just seems like too much trust in royalty in comic books, which I guess is probably one of those things. If you're from a universe with, inherently superhuman people, maybe you're more trusting of kings, but I don't know. It's like, I would like to see, like, if Aquaman's deposed, I would rather see him deposed by a populist, political constitutional organization, and sure, you could have them explore the evils of democracy. Why not? How people are easily
monarchies, and then you employ democracy, that feels even more epically so.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't see how you get from we deposed the old king and now we have or the old king gets murdered and now we have the new king, because that's like what it was, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it works.
But I mean, I can see Lilith's point about DC being heavy-handed, because this week's Justice League 23 was a fill-in issue, and it's Batman, Wonder Woman, and Jessica Cruz, Green Lantern, and they're stopping this armored group who wants to blow up a Middle Eastern country, because supposedly that's where the majority of the world's terrorists come from. So they're like, hey, gotta break a few eggs, make an omelet, and
Wait, the majority of the world's terrorists come from where?
Some Middle Eastern country that they want to blow up.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's made it's made up a stand, but it's so some Middle Eastern country where supposedly the majority of the world's terrorists come from. So this group wants to blow it up.
Thanks.
Lilith, when you were saying about the heavy-handedness,
You know what? I'm just very jaded, and that's why I've moved on to other things, really, because my list is.
Yeah, I see what you read, Archie. What do you think about poor Betty?
That's not gonna stick, but you gotta shake up the status quo every now and then, and they do that. They're very known for that in the last 10 years, to shake up things. So
hey, they turned everyone into zombies. I'm not. I am not trusting them not to kill Betty.
And they'll bring her back. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, but how will they? Well, here's what I'll say. It's like, is she going to be in a wheelchair? I mean, like, what is going to be the outcome from this? I got to think they're not. I mean, just from what they've done so far with the revamped new Archie, I gotta say I am on my edge as to what they're going to do. Ever since they did Life with Archie and they did like the alternate universes, and maybe he marries the girl from Josie and the Pussycats, maybe he marries Betty, maybe he marries Veronica.
About it so much is that they're willing to explore it, and things do tend to have consequences, and then it gets erased, and then we do something else. So
yeah, well, I mean, they're playing with their own universes, but I'd love to see where they go with this. And honestly, the idea that, because here's my thing, I think she's going to be in a wheelchair. I think that's going to be this whole thing, is that she's going to have to struggle with this. You're going to have Reggie dealing with his guilt over it. And obviously you're going to have Archie, and that's going to totally mess with the love triangle between Veronica and Betty and Archie, because now, because you could see, Veronica and Archie kind of seeking a little solace at the end there. And then when she comes out of it, if she can't walk, and then it's going to be like, oh, are you with me because you feel sorry for me? Or are you leaving me because I'm not, there's a lot you could do there. And it's very exciting.
I love the writers. They really do like to explore things like this. And I don't think we've had a disabled character. So that's an interesting theory that you have. And I think they actually might go that route, because they do like to explore all these different dynamics and things like that. So
yeah. Yeah, I was actually
Archie. Sorry, but it's still really, really great. I love Archie comics so much.
Yes, very good.
I can't believe you're reading it.
I'm not reading it. I only know this from all of the stuff I've read online about it.
Oh, Twitter spoiled it for you? Okay.
Well, CBR, but I'm reading the interviews with the guys. I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. And I've been wanting to read Archie's for a while.
Just grab a summer digest and jump in. Just do it.
Yeah, I should because it's like they look interesting. They look like they've got some great stories.
You're back for your buck with their digest, like no joke, like $6, and you're just in there. So great summer reading.
Okay.
Oh.
Sorry,
okay.
guys.
That's okay.
No, hey, you know what? The whole purpose of this is not to just talk Marvel DC.
Exactly.
And other thing I'm really interested in looking into is the crossover of Elmer Fudd and Batman, because that looks really interesting too. That looks like that could be as strangely interesting as the Banana Split Suicide Squad crossover.
Extra money anytime soon. Pick up that Lobo Roadrunner. You're gonna if you love Lobo, like it got Lobo dead on, and I haven't seen Lobo dead on in a long time.
Very cool.
All right. Well, here's my question, Charlie. Are you still reading Super Sons?
Yeah, like I said, I was not that intrigued by this week's or this month's issue. Like I said, it just seemed kind of like teenager whiny stuff.
Well, yeah, that's my problem with this book. I like this book. I want it to work, but it just seems like anytime it seems like they're getting anywhere, the two of them are just arguing with each other. It's like, okay, I understand they're like, superhero teenagers or kids, but it's like...
Yeah, you know what it is? I think they're too little. They're really too young to be superheroes.
Well, what, Damien's 13 now, and what's John, like 10 or 11 or something?
He's younger. Because that's why he's not allowed to be in the Teen Titans, because you're not a teen yet.
I don't know about that, because next issue says Robin reveals his secret weapon to the Titans, and it's Superboy.
Oh, yeah. Well, there we go.
You know what they need? They need a Batgirl, a little baby Batgirl, so that they can fight over and have a love triangle. Maybe that'll make the book better.
Preteen Batgirl.
Yeah. Well, actually, as we saw in Superman, Jonathan's got a girl back in whatever Smallville town they were at before. They decided that they had to move to Metropolis. The little blonde alien girl, who will one day grow up into a tall blonde alien girl who will be standing at his side as they fight evil in the future.
So you
according to
it was there in Hamilton County.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hamilton County.
Yeah, so DC Comics, you've heard Lil Hellfire turn Super Sons into Teen Trinity.
There we go. You know what? They could do like a 13-year-old Amazonian girl. Yeah. Put her in that thing. That's like the weirdest thing with the Teen Titans led by Damien. Damien is 13, and like everyone else is like probably only just a teenager. Like they're all like 18, 19 years old.
That's what I'm saying. Is Starfire even a teenager?
I don't know. Well, I don't know how people age on her world. For all we know, they live to be 300, and she's like, 50, but that's like a teenager on their world, Yeah.
She's like a toddler.
Yeah. It's, there we go. We need Wonder Tot.
Oh.
Bring in the kids.
Yeah, no. What are you gonna do?
But speaking of Trinity, Lilith, did you read Trinity?
Of course I did.
What did you think?
Can we wrap this book up already at this point? I mean, we're not going to actually transition this particular dynamic in the Justice League. What am I investing in this for? Like, I just want the Trinity to actually be like this in the Justice League book. I stop splitting all the good stuff up. Just do what you need to do. Like, stop cashing in on stuff. Like, it's really starting to irritate me.
And did I see somewhere, or are we getting a storyline with the Trinity and the Red Hood and the Outlaws?
I didn't hear that yet. Did you? Where'd you see that at?
I thought I saw something somewhere about, I don't know if it's it.
That could be fun.
Yeah. Our other favorite book, Red Hood and the Outlaws.
Yes. But yeah, this Trinity needs to make an appearance in the Justice League book, because that's why I'm not reading the Justice League book.
Mm-hmm. So. And my last book, Lilith, are you reading Batwoman? Still,
I gave up. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I don't blame you. I mean, the writing seems good, but it just seems like they're stuck on that whole island thing, and I'm just like, what are we? It's supposed to be all like this global story, but it's like you're still stuck in the past. Well, in her, her dealing with her past on this island, and it's just like seems too small to be a global story.
Maybe they're just treading water, and you know how I feel about that. It's just like, look, you gotta hook me and you gotta keep me. I can't do slow stories or slow burns anymore. Like, I'm tired of people writing for the trades. Give me a good one-off and not just in between arcs. Yeah. I'm tired of investing all this time, man. I'm an adult. I got 2 jobs here. I don't have time for it anymore.
You know what Lilith says when the comics tread water? She says, "Throw 'em an anchor."
Yep, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Did you read anything that wasn't DC or Marvel this week, Phil?
No, none of my books are out, but I believe this week coming up, I have 2 of the 3 Image books I get. Yeah, Spawn and Renato Jones comes out this week coming up. So
I read some stuff that wasn't DC or Marvel or Archie.
Okay, what did you read?
And it's a #1, and it's like kind of like a crime thing, kind of like True Detective almost, but it's female led, which is why I picked it up. It's called Normandy Gold. It's issue #1. It's a Titans book. And I wasn't really familiar with the writer, so that's also why I picked it up. It's Allison Galen and Megan Abbott with art by Steve Scott. I know Steve Scott, so the art was really good. That was why I picked it up. But yeah, it's basically her sister dies, and she's a detective, and she's gonna go figure out what happened to her sister. The art is great. The story was tight, fast pacing. That's how I like it. So I picked it up and it was really good. It is $3.99, but it was worth it. Titan books tend to be expensive, but they're always worth it with the art and the quality of the book. So,
so what's the introductory mystery? What is there?
She's murdered and she goes to find. Yeah.
Oh, so it's this time it's personal.
To this CD thing. So yeah.
So is she a detective before her sister gets murdered, or okay? So okay, very cool. Sounds awesome. Do you know what I am really looking forward to?
What?
It's because it is still it's a DC IDW crossover. Conan meets Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
I wanted to bring that up. Yeah.
And think about it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Gail Simone's writing it, so that should be good. But you know what really strikes me about this? Because Conan is actually that was one of my right? Yeah, that was one of my first real big Marvel books that I read regularly. Was Conan the Conan the Barbarian in the 80s. Still waiting for someone to bring back Redbeard, man. He was cool. He technically should be immortal. He fell into the egg and all. So, actually, he did die a couple issues later when they faced off some death being. But, they could always bring him back because it's all magic stuff. And you could use another Sumerian in the Marvel universe, No,
when you said you're looking forward to something, Charlie, I thought you were going to say, did you see who they added to the Black Panther? What character they added to the Black Panther cast?
Oh, well, yes. That
favorite.
This is the year of Tilda Johnson, the Deadly Nightshade. She's going to be in it. I don't know. She's apparently working with Killmonger, so she is on the villain side. I don't know if she's doing his tech or what. I hope they don't short shrift the character. And I actually, it's kind of, this is the only thing that worries me when they start adding in all these characters. It's kind of like, having Volstagg and Thor. I love Volstagg, but you don't get a real good Volstagg arc when the movie's called Thor. I don't think we're going to get a good Tilda Johnson arc in a movie called Black Panther. What they have suggested that although some of these characters aren't in Infinity Wars, some of them may show up elsewhere in the Marvel Universe. So if we get Tilda Johnson coming back, maybe in another Captain America film, because she is an old Captain America villain, or maybe have her show up, which is the hope that maybe she's going to show up in the Netflix universe.
Would that be the vehicle for, everyone's like, would Jeremy Renner pull off a Hawkeye movie? Mm-hmm. Either a movie or Netflix. Would that be the thing for Jeremy Renner, an Occupy Avengers thing?
Oh, well, yes. Well, we've said that really, if you want a Jeremy Renner project, you give him Occupy Avengers, put him with Tilda Johnson, man. Tilda. So you got Tilda Johnson and Hawkeye. I don't know the actors' names for each, but yes. Well, Jeremy Renner, and I forget the actress who's playing Tilda Johnson, but yes, put them in a show or a movie or anything and have them travel the country.
You could bring in Red Wolf too.
You could bring in Red Wolf. His origin is a little complex though, because he is a man out of time, and if you're going to do the man out of time thing, it's. Although one has to always point out that he is so much more adaptive to being a man out of time than most men out of time you get. Which is why, like I said, I got to write to David Walker to see if he was inspired by Conan in the 20th century for that. Because it's very much similar to the idea of this guy who just because he's from the distant past, it's like, okay, yes, they have computers here. Okay, it's... it's like it's weird when you first see one, but then like, oh, okay, it's just a device. It's sort of like when Conan gets shot and he thinks, oh, I've been struck by a magic weapon, and he cleans the wound and he pulls out the bullet, and he's like, it's just a lead pellet. So they just hit me with a slingshot, just a fancy slingshot. It's not magic, and that's pretty awesome. So yeah, I would love to see Tilda Johnson. Honestly, I'd probably rather see a Tilda Johnson show than a Jeremy Renner show.
Of course you would. Of course you would.
But I haven't seen what this actress can do yet, so I can't say. Right now, I'm basing it on this character I love. But yeah, But Jeremy Renner, he's a fine actor too, so everyone likes him. Okay.
All right.
Anything else you want to talk about, guys? We've been here for a little over an hour.
Hey, I don't care. We'll keep going. But no, I had a few things we could get you to real quick. Did everyone see? I guess they're developing a Watchmen series for HBO.
Oh yes,
David Lindelof. And y'all, I don't know if y'all know this, but I love Lost. I love The Leftovers. But no offense, don't come at me in the comments. He has yet to give me a third satisfying act. So it's like I need to see him with a writing partner. Carson Cuse is currently busy with other things. I would love to see them reunited, especially on an HBO show, but not gonna happen.
I'm cool. I'm excited for the HBO Watchmen idea because there's a lot of themes that were in the book that weren't explored in the background, the history.
But of course now the pirate story.
And now, if you get the extended third cut, has the Black Sail cut into the movie. And more of the history of the Watchmen, the Minutemen, the whole superhero movement. We also have before Watchmen to pull from.
Well, that's what I was gonna give me my question. Are we just gonna get an extended version of the movie spread over a season or two, or are they gonna dive into that before Watchmen stuff, and that might give them at least another season or two?
So they will probably pull everything available.
You think by the time this comes out, we're almost at the 10-year anniversary of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they're talking about it now, it means they probably won't start shooting until end of the year next year. So we might not see anything. Think about how long Krypton's being talked about, and we're still not going to see it till 2018. It was announced back in 13 or 14
when Gotham first started.
Yeah. So we're gonna be looking at a 10-year anniversary of the Watchmen movie by the time we're looking at this series. So there's been enough time.
Remember, it's HBO too, so it's 10 episodes. So we keep the quality and the production high and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a minute. But that's probably why they were planning it now. It's for the 10th anniversary, so everybody can reread the stuff and pretend to be a total nerd about it or whatever.
So are they trying to Are they trying to make the Watchmen this big franchise now? Like Suicide Squad or something? Because you got the series coming out, and you got the whole stuff with in DC Comics, with the whole Rebirth stuff and Dr. Manhattan. So
well, they finally ripped the Band-Aid off because they were always worried to do stuff with Watchmen because they're like, oh, but Alan Moore's rabid fans will call us meanies if we do that. And then they went and they did it, and they found out that actually, Alan Moore doesn't have that many fans. He has his fans. Don't get us wrong, but really, he wrote a good comic book. People liked his characters. They'd like to see more with his characters, so they can actually do more. I'm still waiting for Low Watchmen, but it's all things in time. No, they ripped the Band-Aid off, and now they can do these things, and that's where they're at. So yeah, they're gonna exploit the heck out of Watchmen because it's a popular concept for some reason.
the it's weird that so much of the comics that were popular in the 80s are what they're focusing on now. Stylistically.
Yes.
That's when they were good.
Well, no, that's because I realized this last night when I was watching the new Glow series on Netflix. Fun series, watch it. I realized I am, and perhaps you guys are too, but I know that because I was very much a child of the 80s, being born in 1974. My nostalgia is now profitable.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, and we're gonna, and you guys all get your '90s nostalgia pretty soon. Don't worry.
Oh, it's coming. I mean, think about it. They just had the reboot of Power Rangers.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And everything.
Yeah. And and that's the thing is, but we're moving into peak '80s nostalgia now. I mean, heck, look at the legacy books, and they're going back to that old style Marvel Comics Group Presents logos, that you had in the early 80s, because like I said, because people of my age, we have disposable income.
Yeah, I want the cover boxes with like either the character or if it's a team book that, all the heads in there.
Oh yeah. Well, we're all waiting for that. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't know why they got rid of those. I love those,
But they always said that Watchmen was unfilmable as a movie. And of course, they made the movie, and we won't. We need to do a special on the movie, but
we have to decide on what version to do.
Yeah. I like the director's cut.
The movie was okay.
I like the movie, but I mean, we could go into it more detail. But the idea of the series intrigues me because there is such thicker context to explore. Things that kind of get mentioned in the book, like because you have the whole back history chapters from Hollis Mason that you can do. I'm just curious about how they're going to present it. If it's going to be I think of it kind of Game of Thrones style, where they're going to have like these little segments about characters, and then maybe an episode or two we won't see anything, and then a character will come back. It'll take a good couple of seasons before we actually get the full story.
And if they do the before Watchmen stuff, are they going to do that as like the first season or the first two seasons, or are they going to like splice it in maybe as in like on little flashbacks?
As I'm saying, I'm curious.
Good, so if they do
my favorite before Watchmen book was the Dr. Manhattan book. That was the one that I really liked the most.
You know what I never got about the Watchmen universe, though, and maybe this got covered somewhere in one of the before Watchmen books, is so they establish a superhero via scientific means. Why does no one create another superhero?
Because it was an accident. I mean, they have to try to. I mean, I would have liked to see somewhere they try again, like to redo the accident.
That's the thing. I got to figure
because it was his try, Charlie. I mean, his atoms were basically blown apart, and he put himself back together.
It was because of his mind, knowing how complex things work. He was able to pull himself back together. That was the crucial why it was him that worked.
If one time, okay, but if you start doing it again and again, or aren't you gonna like lose all credibility and just be like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is.
Well, but that's the thing is, but once you establish, and not for nothing, that's essentially what you get at the end of it is like, what's his name? Ozymandias realizes, we just have to recreate the experiment. Well, this is in the movie. In the movie, they recreate the experiment. But, the whole idea is just, it seems like no one, that this guy, you have this established superpower that exists in a universe, and yet you see, and to give it to a comparison to other superhero books, you don't go long after you, in fact, I think in the first issue of the Hulk, you get, a Russian creation of the Great Gargoyle, they get their own attempt to recreate something like this because, this works. Let's see what we can create elsewhere. There's other scientists who are not, scientists aren't going to sit there and say, there's a Dr. Manhattan. Let's not ever figure out how that works. Let's not ever try to recreate this. It seems like that's like, no, that would be what every scientist in the world is working on. Especially since he's got like transmutation powers suddenly, of plenty, and he can he's a freaking living replicator. you can't put that into the universe and then just expect everyone to just go, oh, okay. It just seems odd that would be the way that they approach it. That's just me. As you know, it's always the science that pulls me out of the books, not the fantasy.
Hydrogen gas.
And and he started it because he's got the hydrogen atom on his head.
Yeah, he put it there.
Think about it.
Too. Branding.
Yeah, it's all Dr. Manhattan.
Branding.
Him and his hydrogen.
Oh, Lord bless this mess.
I'll tell you though, the hydrogen gas does not upset me as much as the lead in the atmosphere. Placing your atmosphere with is not a good idea.
And it's like, guys, don't mind him.
That's WB science, or I'm sorry, that's CW science.
Yeah, it's all Warner Brothers. It's all them not having a scientific advisor. Good one. Because
science,
that in the atmosphere.
And on that note, I guess we should move over to some shameless plugs and wrap this up.
Sounds great. We lost Tyler again.
Show stuff. Remember, if you like our show, please pick up our merchandise. T-shirts, coffee mugs, phone cases. It's all there. The link will be in the show notes, and it's also pinned to our Facebook and Twitter accounts. And you say, what are your Facebook and Twitter accounts? Well, we're on Facebook, facebook.com/Capes and Lunatics. Twitter is @CapesLunatics. Instagram, Capes and Lunatics. Pinterest, Capes and Lunatics podcast board. Our email is capesandlunatics@gmail.com, and our voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. Stockton, haven't heard from you for a while. Send us a voicemail. Or Jesse Jackson.
Wait,
or anybody.
Why is our Twitter Capes Lunatics? Did somebody have Capes and Lunatics? Or did it just not?
I'm trying to remember. It might have been that, or I know if they only let you have a lot. They only give you so many characters for a Twitter handle.
Okay, because I was gonna say if somebody has Capes and Lunatics, let me talk to them.
All right. The threatening. If you would like to be threatened by Lilith Hellfire, Lilith, where can people be threatened by you?
Send me a mean tweet at Lilith Hellfire, or just to join me on a live tweet at Adventures in FG. You can find me at Adventures in FG on Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And please be sure to check out my website, adventuresandfangirling.com.
And of course,
all right, if anyone.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, if anyone wants a science advisor, Warner Brothers are looking at you. Charlie, where can they contact you?
Well, if Warner's would like someone to give them my take on pseudoscience, they always can write to me in that old-fashioned email way at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And, of course, follow me on the Twitters as I think of something someday to live tweet again. At Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle for quality.
If you have time on Mondays at 10 and you have VH1, you should live tweet Daytime Divas with Vanessa Williams. Just a thought.
And
I don't do reality.
It's not reality.
It's not reality.
But no, we're speaking of other comic companies other than Marvel and DC. My Kari Andrews second interview finally went up, so check that today. It went up, so check out my interview with Kari Andrews. We talked Renato Jones and all comics. I think it's one of my best. And because of scheduling issues, Wade's World went up today. Newcastle Crew went up today. Shout out to the Mistress of Mayhem, Lilith Hellfire.
Good stuff on our podcast feed.
If you want a Lilith Hellfire filled Saturday, go down the new episodes of Wade's World and Newcastle Crew up today. And poor Tyler wrangling his children. His Twitter is @JTYPatrick. Check him out on Krypton Report. And check out Krypton Report on at Krypton Report on Twitter and Instagram. And if you would like to be honored with an interview by the Capes and Lunatics, email me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com, and on Twitter, I'm @nightwingpdp. All right. Have we sold our souls enough today?
I believe so. Feels a little light.
All right. All right. Oh, poor Tyler. Wait, is he coming? I was going to say, he brought us in see if he was going to take us out, but all right. I guess I'll do it. All right. Join us next week. It's always fun. But for this week, we have been the Capes.
Charlie, you're the and.
I did and.
The
Wait a second. Wait.
This is why we don't do live stuff, Phil.
We'll do it live. Hold on. Wait.
Okay.
All right. Do we want to do a good one?
Try.
Hi, Tyler, take us out. Tyler, do the. I'll do Capes, and then you know how it is.
I'm drawing a blank.
Say, for this week we have been the.
Oh yeah, sorry. I just had to.
Okay.
I had to do it with my crisis. I put it in the Facebook feed. It's good fun.
Okay.
All right. So sorry for this craziness and my departure multiple times, but I do have a toddler and a newborn. So this has been the Capes and Lunatics, and I am Tyler.
Phil.
The professor. Sure.
Peace out.
Oh, yes, okay.
We're a hot mess. Don't blame us.